Kingdom Hearts makes me sad. And the thing is, it doesn't have to. It didn't used to be like a joke like it is now, and nowadays it seems to relish in giving the longest sense of video game blue balls next to Half-Life 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 has been hotly anticipated since before it was even announced. And you know what? That's a problem in itself. Now people think they want Kingdom Hearts 3, but they don't. Most of those people are the ones who will say, "Oh, I'm not playing any of those spin-off games. I'm waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. And I think to myself, what? Do you hear what you're saying right now? That doesn't make any sense. You basically got Kingdom Hearts 3, 4, and 5. But no, sorry. You're gonna wait for the game that nobody knew existed for half the time they've been anticipating it. If you don't care about these games, that's fine. I don't care about these games. And I don't pretend to act like I care about Kingdom Hearts anymore. Kingdom Hearts is the definition of wasted potential. The first game is godlike. It's so good. It's one of the best games ever made. It's probably on my top 5 favorite games. Now, before I rip into why this series is full of mistakes, I think it's important to talk about the good things. So let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 1. Holy shit, that song is so good. This game blows my mind. I have played it from beginning to end quite a few times. The key to this game's greatness is the simplicity. I talk about that a lot. You guys will notice that. Final Fantasy and Disney honestly blend together way better than people give it credit for. Kingdom Hearts is basically Disney anime. And what if I told you that Disney and anime are already the same thing? Now, the first game has some dumb shit in it, like the overindulgent stuff about light and darkness and...
In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came.
It gets pretty stupid, but that's in every one of these games, and in this one it felt more metaphorical. You know, it didn't feel like it needed to be bigger than it was. It's just taking the concept of good and evil and giving each side a power to draw from. It's like you take the Jedi and say that their power is light and that the Sith use darkness. It changes nothing about the narrative. You still understand exactly what's going on here. That's why Kingdom Hearts 1 is nice and simple. You don't have to rip your brain into pieces just trying to understand what is going on. Now at this point, Sora is basically just an everyman, and most people can just relate to him. Yeah, he's the chosen one, but you kind of feel like it was on accident. He's really just a kid, like a really young, really nice kid who just happened to get this really crazy magical sword. Now, most kids are pure like he is at this age. And then you've got Riku, who's a little older, and since he's a fucking teenager, he's basically just lost his purity due to maturing and growing up. Like most teenagers, he has a darker side. And this is a little less metaphorical and more literal. But you as a player want to become better than him, and you also want to remain pure while doing so. They make this clear from the beginning of the game. You've got this mini-game rivalry that you do with him. It makes you feel like shit when you lose, even though nothing even really happens. You legitimately want to beat him at everything. You feel Sora's struggle, and you want to become better than him. This perfectly helps you relate to a character. It's genius. After all that, you go on a fucking journey with Donald Duck and Goofy Goof, characters that anybody with a soul can fall in love with if they haven't already. This game gives you a sense of pure adventure. The stakes feel sort of high, but you feel like you and your team kind of have time to goof off if you really want to. You don't really feel pressured by the main quest because it's pretty fucking vague in the first place. Donald and Goofy say like all the time that they have no idea what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. They're just along for the ride like you are.
Are you sure?
Who knows? But we need them to come with us. How much fun you did.
Now this changes at the halfway point when you get to Hollow Bastion, aka one of the best video game levels ever made. Now this is where the game does not fuck around anymore. Riku comes back, yeah, remember him, the bad boy? Yeah, he's back. He steals your Keyblade, and since Donald and Goofy are only with you because of the Keyblade, they go ahead and leave you too. Try having a game where your beloved Disney characters are just fake assholes who will drop your ass at a moment's notice. By the time your friends and your sword come back, the level isn't even done throwing you for a loop. This is where you get a lot of backstory for the game, and you learn about how shit works in terms that you can understand. Yeah, terms you can understand. Not like this.
If we can lock the door between the two realms, light and dark, from both sides, we can protect the other worlds. So you see,
God.
I came here to find the key on this side.
Then the level ends with one of the most intense and satisfying boss fights ever. You take Riku on one last time, except he's basically possessed by Satan and he's also insanely really fucking hard. Really hard. He's really hard. You have to use every ounce of the skill that you've learned so far in order to beat him. Plus, you're on your own. Just you versus him, 1v1. This is the best way to get a player involved in a story. Then, after a few years, Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out, aka the beginning of the end. I'm not going to talk about Chain of Memories. I think Chain of Memories is fine. It feels like a good spin-off game. It's fun. We're not going to worry about that. Now, personally, I enjoy Kingdom Hearts 2 a lot more than I used to. I used to fucking hate this game. Trust me. Now, I only really got one thing that I don't like about Kingdom Hearts. This is the one problem that Kingdom Hearts has, and this problem permeates through the whole series. It bogs everything down. It's the reason we're waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 still, and that reason is the fucking writing. When I'm talking about writing, I mean the dialogue and the plot. All the stuff that requires someone to put a pen on a piece of paper and decide what people are going to say and do next. Writing can make or break a game. If you don't really get how video games can have good writing, here's just a few examples. Here's just a few little games that you might have heard of. Earthbound, Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, Uncharted 2, Knights of the Old Republic, Telltale's The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Wolf Among Us, The Last of Us, Undertale, Metal Gear Solid, Life is Strange. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Not that one. In Kingdom Hearts 1, the writing isn't really that bad. It's pretty good. It's effective at doing what it's trying to do. The characters actually have some pretty cute interactions. You actually kind of care about what's going on here. In Kingdom Hearts 2, the writing just becomes inexcusable. Characters don't interact like real people. Conversations don't feel organic. People behave differently than they do in their own fucking games or movies. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Plus, this is where the narrative just starts to fucking lose it. Like, it completely loses its mind. Now, here's a quick synopsis of Kingdom Hearts 2. Without getting into any of the in-game terms, you know, this is so a normal person can understand it. Alright, here we go. Now, Sora split his soul on accident because he killed himself in the first game. So now you start the game as a physical representation of his soul, played by Jesse McCartney. Now, you're in a world that's actually a simulation of a real town, built by Christopher Lee, so he can resurrect Sora, Donald, and Goofy, who are in cryostasis from the events of the GBA game. Oh yeah, I hope you played that one, because if you didn't, you're fucked! You wake up as Sora after running around as Jesse McCartney for literally 2 hours doing chores and part-time jobs. You meet with the wizard who trained Mickey Mouse, and he teaches you how to do the Dragon Ball fusion technique with Donald and Goofy. He also gives you new clothes. Sora finds out that Ansem, the bad guy from the first game, is actually the zombie form of the apprentice of a guy named Ansem, who's actually Christopher Lee. Now, since Riku was a bad boy in Kingdom Hearts 1, he now looks like that bad guy from the first game, and he wears a blindfold. Because, I don't know. Also, there are these 13 guys who have, like, no souls. That's literal. They literally have no souls. And they want to recreate Kingdom Hearts, which is basically this big, giant soul planet. Also, Goofy dies.
This is not happening.
They'll pay for this.
I'm not making this shit up, guys. That all actually happens. You can take isolated clips from any of the games and just play them with no context, and it's the funniest shit ever.
Oh, we do too have hearts. Don't be mad.
You can't trick us.
Silence, traitor.
The reason the writing is such a problem is because the story is literally holding the entire series back at this point. And the person that is partly to blame for this is Tetsuya Nomura. Now, Nomura is the guy who made Kingdom Hearts, for the most part. First and foremost, he's a character designer, and a damn good one at that. He began his career designing monsters in Final Fantasy V, and he only started doing main characters in Final Fantasy VI, and even then, the only ones he designed were Shadow and Setzer. Now, you ever wonder why Setzer's the only character from before Final Fantasy VII to show up in Kingdom Hearts? That's because he's the only one that Nomura made. Yeah, you're not gonna find anybody from Final Fantasy 1 through 5 in Kingdom Hearts. And that's why. He didn't work on those games. You ever wonder why there's no Final Fantasy 9 characters in the game except Vivi? Because he didn't work on 9. Maybe that's why Vivi's only role in Kingdom Hearts is to get the shit beat out of him. Now, you get Cloud and Tifa and Squall because he actually designed those characters. Now, if you're a Final Fantasy fan like me, you'll also notice that these characters are a little bit off. They don't really act like their in-game counterparts. Now, Kingdom Hearts is also the first appearance of what I like to call Emo Cloud. People who haven't played Final Fantasy VII but who have played Kingdom Hearts probably think that this is how Cloud is. This isn't how he is in Final Fantasy. He's actually a pretty chill guy. No lie, one of Cloud's last lines in Final Fantasy VII is, "Alright everyone, let's mosey." He jokes around. The whole arc of Final Fantasy VII is him getting over himself and learning how to be a new person. It should also be noted that Nomura also directed Advent Children, And Advent Children really also doesn't get how these people work. I feel like he didn't even play this game. Did you play this game? You can see this weirdness in the Final Fantasy X characters also. Why do Wakka and Tidus only exist in the prologue? They don't really have much to do. They don't have much to say. They're just kind of there. Why are Yuna and the other girls like fucking fairies? What? Did you play this game? Legally, by law, you have to tell me if you've played this game or not. If you don't know anything about Final Fantasy before you play Kingdom Hearts, you will still not know anything about Final Fantasy, but you'll know the general synopsis of all the Disney movies. Yeah, I know you saw those. So here's the thing. Nomura only drew these guys. There were other guys at Square that actually wrote what those characters were like. They wrote the story and the plot. So maybe he can only see them for their designs.
Ain't Sephiroth the one who's supposed to be the dark part of Cloud's heart?
What? What the fuck? No, that's not how it works at all. Holy shit, he actually did not play the game. Plus, I don't really have to feel bad about saying this, but maybe he's not really a great director. Not just movie-wise, that's already been proven, but game-wise also. How long exactly has Kingdom Hearts 3 been in development? Let's not forget that he was also the original director of Final Fantasy 15. He almost killed Final Fantasy 15. Even now, news about the Final Fantasy VII Remake that he's supposed to be directing ain't looking so hot. They're delayed to next gen? What the fuck? They're still working on the opening scene? What the fuck? So you're saying that you just started? If you didn't really start on it, why did you announce it? I've been reading articles and hearing people who are saying, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 is so close. And I laugh at those people. I laugh at them. Does this game look done to you? They didn't even make any new audio. They reused the music and sounds from the old games. Plus, they almost didn't get Utada to make a new song for 3. They barely managed to get her on board. And what if they hadn't? What if they hadn't have done that? Would they use another remix of Simple and Clean instead?
How embarrassing.
I have this conspiracy theory that I believe where Sony partnered with Square Enix long ago to say that Kingdom Hearts 3 will actually never come out, but everyone will think it will, so that they can keep selling consoles. Because I know people who got PS3s thinking that Kingdom Hearts 3 would be on it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything. You know, this is all guessing that I've made based on information that I do know. I don't want to rip into this guy too much because obviously he didn't write the whole series on his own. But I will say that I generally believe that great character designers sometimes have problems with making a good story. I call this the shonen effect. I don't really like Naruto that much. Naruto has a really messy plot, but the character designs are cool as hell. Because it was made by a guy who first and foremost just really knows how to draw cool shit. Now with every Kingdom Hearts game that comes out, the story also gets messier and messier. Games get pushed back because they try to release new games that explain the messed up story. You don't need to explain everything. Who the fuck are these people? I feel like gameplay-wise, Birth by Sleep is a really great return to form. I loved playing this game. It feels really reminiscent of the first game. Now, if the story didn't try to tie in with every other game so hard, I would have probably given this game a pretty good score, but shit just kept getting more confusing. Now, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Square addressed a huge complaint from audiences. Make the games playable on the same console. Now, I'd be overjoyed by the fact that they bundled all these games together, but the fact is that they're also just passing this off as new Kingdom Hearts releases for the last 3 years. That doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make anybody happy. It's just wasting our time. Each game that comes out gets farther and farther away from what made Kingdom Hearts great. There have to be some real changes to make Kingdom Hearts 3 worth this wait. Here's a few of my changes. These are the changes I think would make this game really fun. Please listen to me. Firstly, they have to integrate the Disney worlds and the Final Fantasy characters into the story a little bit better. Remember how in Kingdom Hearts 1, Maleficent was like a real pivotal part of the plot? Make more shit like that. I know it would take a skilled writer to do that, but that shouldn't be a lot to ask for. Final Fantasy characters shouldn't be designated to weird, out-of-place cameos. 3 mainline Final Fantasy games have come out since Kingdom Hearts 2. Why do you barely use Final Fantasy characters as party members? It's kinda like you never played the games they're from. Put Lightning in the game. I don't even like Lightning, but put her in the fucking game. Secondly, throw this whole story in the fucking trash. Now, I know that's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen. I'm just asking nicely. Don't work off of this really long, convoluted narrative. Trust me, I know I'm asking for a lot. This is not going to happen, but if it did, the game would be a fucking hit. Just look at Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Birth by Sleep, A Fragmentary Passage. Look at that fucking title. Seriously, it's 10 words. It's 10 fucking words. One of the main critiques of this game is that the writing is a mess. The story makes no sense. And you know what? This is what critics say about every Kingdom Hearts game. When new spin-off games get released, Western audiences just lose interest. That's how we work. We're not gonna buy that game on PSP. We're not gonna buy HD collections of those games either. The hardcore fans will, but maybe you shouldn't try to cater to the hardcore fans. Normally, I would never say that, but it's been proven that Kingdom Hearts fans will literally play anything. The people like me who used to be huge fans have kind of just lost our fucking patience. We are the people that Square Enix has to win back. So for our sake, please make Kingdom Hearts 3 an accessible game with a fun story and well-written characters. Please. Also, make a Star Wars level. It's easy. Look, make it the Death Star. Donald and Goofy are flying around and they're like, oh, Donald says, oh, we're about to hit that moon. And then Goofy's like, that's no moon. And then you go inside the Death Star and you fight Darth Vader. And then you fly outside the Death Star and you blow it up with your gummy ship. There you go. That one's on me. Go ahead, make your game, guys. Have a good day.